parts of my job is getting to work with incredibly smart and talented people. And I am so thrilled to be joined today by Dr. Daniel Butler, a renowned board-certified dermatologist and the Director of Inflammation and Skin Aging Research at University of Arizona. Dr. Butler and I are going to take you through some key skincare ingredients that you should be using in your routine, and we're going to break down what they are, how they work, and the results that you're going to experience. So a couple of things to know. Today's event is live and completely shoppable. So we're going to drop the link for you to view the products that we're going to be talking about in the chat. And as always, if you have any questions, be sure to drop them in the chat. We have people behind the scenes that can answer anything for you, and we welcome questions along the way. Please definitely give us your questions. Another thing to note is while you're listening and shopping, all of our moisturizers today are 20% off. So just know that. And we also have a juicy GWP. If you spend $90 or more, you're going to get a deluxe sample of our Chabula Active Serum and our Phyto Retinol Sleep Serum that's valued at $26. So these are really great sizes for traveling. And also at the end of this, one lucky winner is going to win an entire True Botanicals Skin and Body collection that has a value of $527. So with all of that, I want to get started, and I'm going to welcome Dr. Butler on the screen with me. Hi.
So great to be here. Thanks so much, Sarina.
You. I think the last time we saw each other, we were at Nordstrom, but we were in person. So it's great to see you on camera now. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day. I know you have patients and you're extremely busy, but I'm excited to have this conversation with you and to share all of your amazing knowledge with everybody on the call, because every time I talk to you, I'm inspired. And so I'm excited to share all of that with everybody that's watching. So I guess to kick it off, before we get into like all the products and, getting into True Botanicals, you obviously see patients all the time, right? So give us a little update, and overview of what are the things that you see most? Like, what are patients coming to you, especially as it relates to aging? What are the common things that you see most in your practice?
Yeah, well, you set a high bar for me, but I love working with you, and it's so fun to get to talk about skin science and the stuff that you guys are doing at True Botanicals with your green sciences is really where the appetite is. So that sort of is a nice bridgeway into your question, which is like, what are people coming into their doctor and talking about? And certainly there's a worry about aging, but I think everyone's realistic in that they know aging is coming no matter what they do. And so I think that gets into sort of this individualized aging process, which is that people come in and they don't like the signs of aging, but they also want the benefits of aging, the experience, the time, the relationships, all these good things. So it's a sort of complex interface. And when it comes to the skin, it's really just reversing those classical signs of aging, the things like fine lines, wrinkles, dullness, volume change, texture change, some of those pigment changes. Those are the things that people want to get rid of while they still honor the benefits of the aging process. So that's certainly what people come in worried about, what they're seeing. But then on the other side is they want really clean options. They want effective, clean options. And that's something I can tell you in the last several years, we've seen so much more of, which is there is a concern, and rightfully so, responsibly so, about, where did this product come from? Where did it, what are its origins? Is it safe for me? Is it safe for long-term use? So if I had to put it in a nutshell, it's about effectively reversing the signs of the visible signs of aging and having a product that's sustainable and easy to use for long periods of time.
Yeah, I think, I know for myself, those are exactly the things that I worry about, right, as it relates to aging. And, my skin just, I have my 50-year-old skin is glowing because of True Botanicals. And, obviously I'm biased because I developed the products, but I do think there's some things to note as, we're going to get into some ingredients that people, need to be using or probably are using in different forms. But I think one thing to note about True Botanicals, for me at least, and I think for a lot of people why they've seen such success, is our products are all biocompatible with the skin, right? We use ingredients, and I think you can, add to this, but we use ingredients that all can be absorbed into the skin, right? Your skin needs to be able to take them in and use them. And a lot of times, some conventional products, there's a lot of ingredients that are going to sit on the surface of the skin that aren't easily absorbed, or that are going to kind of wreak more havoc on the skin than is needed. Right. So our approach is really finding ingredients that work with your skin to combat the aging process, to either correct signs of aging or help prevent future damage from happening, and all being done in a very clean way that works with your skin, that's compatible, that can easily be absorbed, that your skin can recognize and use those ingredients at their most optimal level. Right. I mean, I think that's some of the issues we see is like people are chasing their skincare results, right? They're using all these products, they think they're working, and like they're just not seeing the results they want to see. And it's, my belief is because those ingredients aren't getting to the levels that they need to get to in the skin, and they're not working with your skin. Your skin's constantly kind of fighting those ingredients, right? And so that's what I love about True Botanicals is that we do so much research to find those ingredients that are going to be compatible with your skin, that your skin can absorb and easily recognize.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's where I have experienced True Botanicals to have a true advantage over other products. There's something that you talked about, which was, in our world, we talk about it as adherence, sticking to the plan. And I think particularly in skincare, you see a lot of shifting and moving. Oh, this is the new product. You should try this one. You should try that one. And I think what I see for my patients who use True Botanicals is that there's a trust with how it's made, and there's a reliance on that effectiveness that we ultimately see, and that combination leads to much better adherence. And really, with any skincare regimen, you have to stick with it. You have to be able to use it regularly, and that's a product of number one, enjoying using it. And I think that's another thing you guys are really wonderful, with is people really love it. It's part of that sort of luxurious experience that. I know that my family, we use it, and a lot of my patients use it. They love that. So that's one piece of it. But then, of course, there's the others, which is, does it work and is it safe? And, when you look at the science behind these products, I really do trust it. And I think that shows in how commonly people stick with your products. I love that about them.
Yeah. And I think, and we'll talk about this in a bit, but the science behind them, right? The clinically proven science-backed ingredients and results that are driving, what people are seeing in terms of the change of their skin, like visibly transformed skin after using a True Botanicals regimen.
Absolutely.
So,
And I'll say one other thing. Sorry to interrupt you,
no,
but
go ahead.
this came to my mind is like, when we're looking for products out there, we see buzzwords like natural and fresh or organic, these sort of like buzzwords. And I think that there's been there's now a healthy skepticism in my patients, at least, about what those actually mean. And then when you see when I've been able to look at the science and really look at the data and see that what's being produced from these green products is truly there, I think it's exciting, not only in the skincare world, but just more broadly, that we're actually distilling what these sort of buzzwords actually mean and actually getting to these brands and these products that truly are what people want, which are green and effective.
Yeah, definitely. And so as we break down some key ingredients, right? There's a lot of ingredients, I'm sure, as a dermatologist that you see a lot that you're recommending to your patients, right? Certain ingredients that are known in the skincare world of things that you should be using to address signs of aging, right? And I'm just going to stop right there. We have a lot of questions happening in the chat, and we will get to them. I know there's people behind the scenes answering questions. We're going to answer some of those as we go along in this conversation. So I love all of the excitement and the questions that are coming in. Okay, so let's, retinol, vitamin C, obviously sunscreen. There's a couple that maybe aren't as well known out there, like Chibula, which obviously, we've sort of led that charge of putting Chibula on the map. Also fatty acids, right? So we're going to kind of talk about all of these ingredients. Let's get into retinol first, because that is like the biggest buzzword, right? Everybody talks about using retinol, to help with aging. And I want you to give us sort of like, the breakdown of like a simple way of like, what is retinol? What does it do? Pros and cons. And I'm going to give my like 2 cents on it, but I want you as the dermatologist to give us your professional view on it.
Yeah. I'm happy to talk about retinols. We talk about them all the time at work. So retinol is a vitamin A derivative. And when we put any retinol or, some of the more common products like Retin A on the skin, what's happening is that vitamin A derivative is leading to an increased rate of turnover of the skin. And that increased rate of turnover of the skin ultimately helps rejuvenate collagen and can reverse some of those undesirable signs of aging. So it causes some texture change to the skin, increases the plumpness of the skin, can reduce fine lines and wrinkles. So why that's such an important piece is because that turnover of the skin does great things. It also, in many who have probably tried them, can do not so great things. And I think that's probably where our conversation is going to ultimately go here. But that's some of the challenge with that medication.
Yeah. And I think so at True Botanicals, we were always very nervous to sort of approach the topic of retinol, because what retinol actually does is what Dr. Butler says, it increases that cell turnover. So you get almost like a severe exfoliation, which is why you get redness, you get irritation, dry, flaky skin. And if you're someone like me, I have tried to use retinol for a long time. And every time I try it, I'm so disappointed that I did, because my skin just is not compatible with it. I got red, flaky, dry, and it took me weeks to get my skin back to, to where I wanted it to be. And so selfishly, I was on a hunt, right? Looking at, part of my job is researching ingredients all across the world. And I was on a hunt to find, how can I find something that's going to be as effective, but not give me those sensitizing side effects? And that's where we discovered this ingredient called peptilium. And I know, Dr. Butler, you've read the science behind this. Peptilium is actually a biopeptide that was clinically proven to work to do to the skin a similar action of what retinol does, but without any of the sensitizing side effects. And it was clinically proven to work 2 times faster and 2 times better than retinol. And so if you have a solution that's going to work better than retinol, why not use it? And why not use it with something that's not going to be sensitizing, something that is going to be good for your skin, right? That's going to feed your skin some nutrients, and that you're going to get amazing results, right? I know that you've read the science on this, and and your opinion, I don't want to speak for you, but you thought that this was an amazing alternative, right? For people that really can't use retinol or choose to go take a sort of more skin friendly route.
Yeah, I've said this before, but I do love retinols. I think they're effective for the people that they work for. So, I think any dermatologist who sort of moves them to the side is probably being a bit disingenuous. But when I started to look at the science, the question that I asked myself, and I've asked this to other dermatologists, is like, is it possible that in 40 years since we've had, these retinols on the market, is there truly not one alternative? And, I think what I've seen with my patients who've used it, and in the science, the early studies that you all did with peptilium and the phytoretinol sleep serum, I think it's just tremendous. And I think it answers that question, which is like, yeah, absolutely. There's another alternative to this. And you can still get those same benefits that the reduction in fine lines and wrinkles and some fullness of the skin because of that collagen rejuvenation. You can get it with a different product. And I think peptilium is that biopeptide that will do that. And I think where I get most excited about this is, yes, certainly in the speed. I think that's really exciting that it does it faster than a traditional retinol. But owing back to that speed piece is the tolerance. So I already talked a little bit about adherence, but I can tell you the hardest thing for people starting a retinol is to stick with it. Even when I'm starting someone, I tell them, hey, even if this works for you, even if it's not irritating for you, it's going to be 3 months before you start to see benefit. And with this phytoretinol option, with this as an alternative, you're seeing increased adherence rates because people aren't getting irritated. And so I think it's wonderful that it's an alternative from an efficacy standpoint. And it's in these studies, it worked better, it worked faster, but mostly it shows that it's something that people can use without that irritation. And I love seeing that you guys did the patch testing study. So for those who aren't familiar, they test these products to see if they're irritating using a patch test where they basically try to irritate the skin. And none of the patients in the test actually got irritated by this.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's really exciting. And, I love being able to give something to someone where I don't have to like coach them through all the pain that they're going to go through on their journey to getting better or getting the result that they want. And that's been my experience with the phytoretinol.
I love all of that. And I agree. It's like why harm your skin to get the results you want when you can have something that actually nurtures your skin and gives you the results and you enjoy using it, right? The whole experience is a beautiful sensorial experience, right? So the products that we're talking about that are powered by Peptilium is we have our phytoretinol sleep serum, which is a beautiful serum. You can see the texture on my hand. Okay, it's a lightweight lotion, like emulsion. It soaks into the skin and then it soaks in very quickly. So there's no downtime in your nighttime routine. And then you can go on and put your moisturizer on over it. The next item in the phytoretinol line is actually brand new. We just launched this. This is our phytoretinol advanced clinical cream. This is the most beautiful, like luxurious moisturizer. I'm obsessed with it. It is like a soft cream. It has this like velvety, smooth texture that just like soaks into the skin and feels like silk going on the skin. It literally is like this beautiful, beautiful routine that you can create for yourself at night. And then the last one we have is our body lotion. This is a body treatment. So if you want all those benefits of Peptilium, not only on your face, but your body, our body lotion is a wonderful way to get that. And again, it's a lightweight lotion, absorbs into the skin, no downtime. You can get dressed, or if you're putting on it at night, you can get into bed quickly after. It's not going to leave your skin wet or sticky or tacky or greasy. It's going to soak in, and those results will be seen very quickly. In the sleep serum and the clinical cream, after 1 week, you're going to start noticing results. And the body lotion too, your skin will just start glowing and look smoother, more even toned. I mean, my skin, I don't know if you can see, but I literally only have a tinted moisturizer on and I have a little blush, but my skin, I use the sleep serum, the clinical cream every single night. And I'm obsessed. Okay. And again, my skin, 50-year-old skin, I think it looks pretty good. What do you think, Dr. Butler? I think,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you're like the best person to talk about this stuff, because not only do you have the expertise, but I think just for everybody out there, anytime I'm in person with Sarina, everyone's like looking at her skin and like involving her skin. They'll use my like dermatoscope to look at her skin. So, whatever you're doing,
I'm
is
doing true botanicals. I'm
yeah.
doing true botanicals. Okay. So let's move on to the next ingredient, because I want to be conscious of time and I want to make sure that we address the different ingredients that we want to talk about. Okay, Chibula, right? Chibula is a relatively new ingredient to the skincare world. And it's something that we discovered a few years ago when we were looking for an ingredient that really helps to correct, prevent, and protect the skin, right? Because while we're dealing with signs of aging, right, we also want to make sure that we can prevent future signs of aging from happening, right? And so you want to kind of address both sides of the spectrum. And when we saw Chibula, in my, at the time it was my, I'd been doing product development for 25 years. I had never seen an ingredient quite like Chibula in terms of the antioxidant potential of it and the anti-aging benefits. I know I shared with you the studies, and you also were quite amazed, especially at the antioxidant results, just because, I think what's not known is that antioxidants aren't the most stable ingredients. And they tend to, what they do is they absorb free radicals, right, on your skin to prevent the free radicals or oxidative stress from attacking your skin, right? But once they absorb so much, they actually can't work anymore. And the amazing thing that we found about Chibula is that it's considered a cascading antioxidant. I know that's a big word, and might be a little sciencey, but it's a cascading antioxidant, meaning that it continues to convert and change form to absorb those free radicals throughout an entire day, right? So you can feel completely protected and safe when using it, knowing that Chibula is really going to defend against all of those environmental aggressors that are trying to attack your skin, right?
Absolutely. And again, I think it's one of those, there's so much misinterpretation out there about these sort of like scientific words that have now been converted into almost like, buzzwords that I think most of my patients are like, hey, what actually is that? And when I was able to see that effect in your studies, and I was sort of blown away by its possibility to sort of be a catch-all. It's not just reversing what you're seeing, but all this constant assault that our skin is under, whether it's from the sun or from the environment or pollutants in the environment, all of these free radicals that are trying to cause little micro damage in your skin and in your skin's DNA so that you ultimately develop all those things that you don't want to do. You need constant protection. And so to have something with that durability, that cascading effect is really exciting, and is right up there with the best of the antioxidants that we've had for decades now.
Right. In fact, when we did our studies, we saw that Chibula outperformed very well-known antioxidants. So I'm sure a lot of you have heard of resveratrol, which comes from grapes, or I'm sure a lot of you have heard of like pomegranate or acai, which are, we've all have been touted as like very, well-known and hardworking antioxidants. But Chibula has been proven to work better than all of those, right? So that's a testament to stacked up against some of the leading antioxidants that we all have been told to use, that Chibula can outperform all of those and really helping to protect your skin.
Yeah. And I'll as someone who likes looking at the science, I always think there's sort of two sides. There's the mechanism, which is like, how is it doing it? And then there's the actual effect. And I love it when those two match each other, right? So sometimes, you'll see science of something that does something incredible, but when it's applied, you don't quite see the clinical benefit to it. And, that goes for skincare and in sort of more traditional medicine. And I think Chibula is something that I've seen that matches both of that. So it has this incredibly potent antioxidant effect that is constantly working. And then when you look at it molecularly, that's what it's shown. But then when you also see it clinically, you see that it affects so many different levels of our skin: fine lines, wrinkles, collagen, color evening. I mean, I don't know if anyone has seen some of the before or after photos on your guys' website, but they're remarkable, and they certainly follow what I've experienced in practice.
Yeah. And we talk about it addressing 5 different signs of aging, right? And so that's, it all stems with really helping to optimize your skin's collagen levels, right? Being a superior antioxidant, and then addressing the skin at different levels to help with certain cellular functions, right, that are happening that really then lead to, like you said, fine lines and wrinkles, skin tone and elasticity, right? Brighter complexion, more hydration, right? All of these things that you're wanting from, a skincare routine. And the other thing that I love is that because it addresses 5 signs of aging, right? It almost like takes the place of a lot of other products that you might use on a daily basis, right? So if you're using an antioxidant, if you're using a brightening treatment, if you're using a hyaluronic acid serum, all of those things can be found in especially not only Chibula, but our Chibula Active Serum, right? That's our serum that's powered by Chibula, powered by hyaluronic acid. And for me, it's like, I call it my first line of defense, right? Like it's the first thing I want to put on right after I cleanse morning and night, because I feel like it's like hugging my skin, protecting my skin, correcting my skin, right at the first line, like the first thing I put on.
Yeah. I mean, I've told you this, but I love that, for everybody's busy, and it allows people to sort of have the simplified singular option that's going to be both protective now and in the future, and cover a lot of the desired effects of a skincare regimen. So it can be sort of like my simplified single option, and then it can also be a small part of a more deluxe or luxurious skin experience. And in my practice, I see people who just want like, hey, I want the easiest effective thing that's there and easy, so I won't forget to do it. And then I also have, and sometimes it's those same people who on a day-to-day basis only want to use a simplified approach, but every once in a while, maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month, want to do something much bigger, much more luxurious and deluxe. And this fits into that type of regimen as well. So I know I've talked about adherence and compliance, and I think it's great to simplify because it gives you at least one thing that's going to get you what you need. And it's going to prevent what I see all the time, which is someone coming in with a bag full of stuff that they've bought over the last 3 years on the recommendation of this person and that dermatologist. And all of a sudden we've spent a ton of money on several different products, tens of products, none of which we end up actually loving. And, you know, that's what I really don't love for my patients, is spending the money and not finding the product that they like. And I love the Chibula. I use it all the time to offer a simplified approach in a busy world.
Yeah. I mean, I call it my liquid gold. Like it literally, like that amber color, it's just, you know, that's the Chibula giving it that color, right? This again has the hyaluronic acid in it. We have elderberry, we have echinacea, we have ginger. You know, it's a beautiful one-stop shop. Again, if you're a minimalist and just want one thing that's going to do it all, this is where you go. And then you can, you know, layer on after that. The other product that we have that is powered by Chibula that I just want to mention is our Chibula Extreme Cream. So we talked about our new Phyto Advanced Clinical Cream being more of a soft cream. This is our Chibula Extreme Cream, and this I would say is more of a rich cream. So if you're someone out there, and I saw that there were some comments that people had, if you have more dry skin, dry flaky skin, Chibula Extreme Cream is going to be your new best friend, because this cream, because of what's not in it almost. You know, we talked a lot in the beginning of like, there are a lot of products out there that have waxes or silicones or other ingredients that sit on the surface that your skin can't take in all the goodness that it needs to really, you know, to provide your skin with the nutrients and to help correct and address all the things that are happening below the surface. Chibula Extreme Cream, every single ingredient can easily be absorbed and soaked into your skin. So all these butters that are creating this rich texture, all of the active ingredients, the Chibula, the acerola cherry that we have, the oils in here, all can soak in and feed your skin what it needs without feeling super heavy and greasy on the surface, right? Everything's going to be soaked in. This is more of an extreme, like I said, an extreme cream for drier skin, and it will change your life if you're someone that's been dealing with super dehydrated skin and can't find that fix. This will be that fix for you. Okay, there's a few questions I want to just get to before we get into the next ingredient, because I want to make sure that we're addressing some of the things. So let's see. D said, I have oily combination skin, and what moisturizer would you recommend I use from True Botanicals? If you have oily combination, I would either, depending if you're also dealing with signs of aging, if you have oily combination and dealing with signs of aging, I would say our Phyto Advanced Clinical Cream. If you have oily combination and just need some more luminosity and just want a brighter complexion and haven't yet, you know, seen your first wrinkle or haven't yet, you know, have age spots, I would say probably do our Ginger Turmeric Hydro Glow Cream. It's a lightweight gel cream, soaks in super quickly, really good for oily combination skin. Okay. Lucy Bialik, hoping to fade my dark spots. Which products do you suggest? That's a good tee up for our next ingredient. So we're going to get to that in a little bit. Doxy Mom says, I have most of your products. My issues are fine lines, wrinkles, dark spots, texture, and very dry skin, especially around my nose and chin. So if you already have most of our products, I would say the advanced clinical cream that we just came out with is really going to affect those dark spots, the texture, your dry skin, the fine lines and wrinkles. I think that's going to be a game changer for you in your routine. Okay, we're going to get into the next ingredient. We'll get to more questions in a bit. Vitamin C, right? I mean, everybody, that's been like touted for forever, kind of like with retinol. Tell me, Dr. Butler, why is vitamin C important? Why should you incorporate it into your routine?
Yeah. It's another wonderful antioxidant, perhaps the greatest of all time of antioxidants, and how comfortable people are with it is really, really one of its best features, is that everyone knows vitamin C. We drink it, we eat it. And so to have it as sort of this holistic piece of our skincare regimen is wonderful, and people really enjoy using it. But of course, it comes with its own sort of unique challenges of how to use it, where to position it. And so I think that's often where some of the complexity comes in.
Yeah. And I think that, vitamin C has been out for a long time, right? I do think there are challenges with vitamin C in formulas. So if you're someone who's used a vitamin C product, whether it's a serum or a cream, and you've noticed that it turns a little like yellowy brown, right? Vitamin C tends to oxidize when it interacts with water, other types of products, right? And so that's why it's hard to formulate with. It's hard to get into a product and have it be stable for a long period of time. So if you're someone that uses a serum and you notice even like the tip of your pump gets a little like browner, like that means that it's been oxidized. So we don't want you to use something that's been oxidized. We don't want you to use something that potentially doesn't have as strong efficacy, right? So our vitamin C is a little interesting. It comes in this bottle and it actually is in powder form. I'm going to pour a little out so you can kind of see do you see it? It's a white powder. And it's pure, it's 100% pure vitamin C and ferulic acid. So every time you use it, you get a fresh dose of vitamin C, and it's going to be super active on your skin. And the way that we talk about using it is you would take that powder and you would take your Chibula serum and you would just mix it together, and it mixes in super easily. And then you've just boosted your Chibula serum with a potent vitamin C to get even more brightening skin benefits to your routine. So for me, I love using this at night. I love boosting my Chibula serum at night. Obviously, during the day, if you're going to boost it with vitamin C, you want to make sure that you're using a sunscreen, right? Because it definitely can be photosensitizing on the skin. But I do think that vitamin C is hard, and people sometimes want to use it and don't see the results because maybe it's already been oxidized in your formula or in your product, and then you're not getting all the benefits that you want to be getting. I don't know if you see that in
Yeah, I mean, what I'll say is there's just so many products out there that I think people struggle to know which one to use. And yes, vitamin C and its antioxidant properties are wonderful, but it again goes back to the practical use of it, which is something I talk about all the time with my patients, which is like, okay, we know the potential benefits of some of these compounds, some of these products. Now, what's the optimal way for you to use it? And how can you get the result that you want? And I think that you all have tapped into some of those challenges and been able to augment these sort of historical products with some of the other wonderful products you guys have.
So I think there's a lot of questions about Chibula serum and Phyto retinol sleep serum. Okay, there are two serums that we just talked about. One's powered with Chibula, one's powered with Peptilium. That's the retinol alternative. And you can use them together, right? The nice thing about, a lot of times, with retinols, you have to be careful about when you use it or how long you use it or what you use it with. For us, you can use it together. So you can either use it in the same routine, or you can use your Chibula serum in the morning and your Phytoretinol sleep serum at night. I personally use my Chibula serum morning and night just because I love the power of the antioxidant capacity that it has. And again, it's my first line of defense. So during the day, I use my Chibula serum, and at night I use my Chibula serum, and I put my Phytoretinol sleep serum on top. I'm definitely not a minimalist when it comes to skincare. So, if that's too many steps, you can just use one in the morning and one at night. So I hope that answers. There were a few questions on that.
I feel like people in the comments of this are really popping off in good ways. Like everyone is asking for what their skincare routine would be.
So the other thing is vitamin A, the same as retin A. So that's a good one for you, Dr. Butler, because it's a little different.
Yeah. So is vitamin A the same as retin A? So no, retin A is a specific product that has a retinoid in it. And then there's different versions of retinols or retinoids. And they're all vitamin A derivatives, but they're not explicitly vitamin A. So, like if you were to ever get a pill of vitamin A, or a liver, which is full of vitamin A, you won't actually get the same benefits that the retinoids would give you if you just put it on your skin. You need these derivatives, and then you'll see many different types of retinoids in the market or from your dermatologist. And that's because different vitamin A derivatives hit different receptors in the skin. And so that's why you see different products. So Retin-A being one of those products out there, tretinoin.
And then the other thing just to note, as we think about, so Retin-A is a prescription, right?
Mm-hmm.
As we think about vitamin A in our products and out in the world, and what you see in the skincare world, right? Vitamin A actually doesn't exist in nature. So vitamin A that's out in other skincare products is mostly synthetic. It's animal derived also, but no one's using those anymore, right? Because we are all, most people don't want to use animal derived products and ingredients. So most of the vitamin A out in the world is synthetic. Obviously, we are a clean, natural, sustainable brand. And so for us, the way that we achieve vitamin A on the skin is we actually, both in the sleep serum and in the clinical cream, we use a carotenoid rich blend of oils. And so what carotenoids are, think beta carotene, right? They're plants that are really rich in vitamin A, that are in provitamin A, that are rich in carotenoids that are provitamin A. And when it hits your skin, those carotenoids actually convert to vitamin A, to retinoic acid in the skin. So that's very sciencey, and maybe a little too sciencey for everybody, but I just wanted to help you understand our approach is very different, because again, we're feeding your skin what your skin can absorb and relate to, right? Your skin can relate to those carotenoids. Your skin knows what to do with them when it's absorbed. Your skin can convert those carotenoids into retinoic acid. And so it's a different approach to getting vitamin A than more of a topical prescription grade. So just wanted to kind of clarify that, because that's a big difference. Okay, back to vitamin. We talked about vitamin C. The next thing I want to hit on is fatty acids. So tell us a little bit about fatty acids in the skin, why fatty acids are important, and what happens to them as we age.
Yeah. Fatty acids are, I consider them a little bit of the unsung hero of the skin. So, when you put water on your skin and it just sort of runs off, it's something, if you haven't done it, it's something interesting to do, just to see how your body combats the environment. The exact reason your skin has that barrier and is able to repel liquids, waters, is because of the fatty acids in your skin. And the cool thing about the fatty acids that our body synthesizes is that it's not just that they protect us from the environment, but when we've done molecular studies on them, they're antimicrobial, meaning they can control the microbiome on your skin in an effective way. They're also anti-inflammatory, which is actually, they can control the immune system, not directly, but indirectly. They sort of serve as like the feeding ground for a healthy immune system. And as you would imagine, when they're not there, that's also an aberrant or an abnormal activity or environment for the immune system. And then the last thing that they do, which is really cool, and there's some new science on this, is they're actually protective from sun damage. So, fatty acids are really, really phenomenal additions to the skin, and they're a critical part to any healthy skin barrier on multiple levels. And as we age, as you would imagine, we start losing them. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One is that we just get constant assault from the environment, and it's hard for our skin to reproduce them. The other is, dietary changes, and we lose a little bit of our synthetic ability, our ability to produce these. And interestingly enough, most of the fatty acids that we have in our skin are produced right there in the skin. So while you can supplement with oral essential fatty acids, for the most part, the barrier fatty acids in the skin, the essential fatty acids in the skin, are made in the skin. So the reason why I'm saying that is because it's so important that we give the skin what it ultimately needs as it loses it when we age. And that's a huge part of the discussion I have with patients about their aging process. Is one of those key features is the loss of essential fatty acids.
And I think that's why, so our founder, Hillary Peterson, knew, when she did all of her research, when she was starting this brand, that was a key tenet to the brand, really was providing the skin with the necessary fatty acids, omega-3, 6, and 9 fatty acids to the skin in a smart way that the skin can really take in and recognize and absorb, because she knew that as we age, we lose those. Right. And look at all the things that they do, right? All the things that you listed out. I actually learned a few things today because I didn't know all of those things. I mean, those are some key functions to the skin to keep our skin looking more youthful, healthy, our skin barrier, inflammation, right? I mean, all of that is so important. And that's why when she first started the brand, the first product, it's our legacy product, is our radiance oils. Our Renew Pure Radiance Oil is so rich in those omega-3, 6, and 9 fatty acids to feed your skin what it needs for it to function in all those different ways, right? To help with inflammation, to help with your skin barrier function, to help plump up the skin, right? To help it look less like dull and sallow. And it's important to feed it in the right way, right? And so the radiance oils are rich in not only just regular oils, but we use seed oils. And I think there's a difference in the seed oils versus, like an olive oil or a nut oil, because seed oils, if you've never used an oil before, I'm encouraging you to try this, because this is unlike any other oil that you've used on your face. It doesn't almost feel like an oil. It almost feels like a serum that quickly absorbs and soaks into your skin, because the oils that we're using have a lower molecular weight to really absorb into the skin and work hard replenishing those necessary fatty acids. So the oil is just, it's like, I feel like it's our secret sauce in a way. And the difference with this oil is a lot of people have been told to use your oil at the end of your routine, right? So you do your skincare routine, you put on your serum and you put on your moisturizer, and then put your oil on at the end. And for us, that is not the way we do it. We want your oil to go on before your moisturizer, because your oil needs to absorb in, right? And soak in. You want it to it's almost like your serum step, right? So you're going to use your serum, you're going to use your radiance oil, and then you're going to follow up with any type of cream emulsion on top of it. And that cream emulsion almost helps to lock it all in, right? But this oil is like when people, are using a routine and they're like, yeah, it's nice. And then they start using the oil, they're like, wow, okay, that's a game changer. Like that just changed my entire routine, because it's those fatty acids, right, that you just talked about, that are so important to the skin and to replenish them in such a meaningful way.
And I will tell you, I'm a skeptic when it comes to any product that's making promises. And I started using this, and I absolutely, really, really love it. And I actually really like it for any time we're damaging the skin, which is unfortunately constant. Whether it's shaving or procedures, or even just a really hot shower where things are, where potentially it's drying out your skin. I really love this as again, a simplified option to just rehydrate the skin. It's sort of like my cheat code of catching back up, because I know I'm getting exactly what the skin has either struggled to create, or I've just relatively destroyed with some sort of trauma to the skin. So anyway, I really love personally using it, and certainly my patients have loved it too.
Yeah, I mean, it's such I feel like it's such an integral step to your skincare routine that for us, it's the key step. We call it like the regeneration step, right? You're regenerating your skin with those fatty acids, because our skin doesn't make them on their own. We lose them as we age, and we have to replenish those so they can help with all those functions that you just talked about in the skin. Okay, so let's go to a couple questions before we get into some other topics. And I know we have a few minutes left. Okay, so someone asked, you put the oil on after the Chabula serum, question mark? Yes, you do. You'd put the Chabula serum first, and then you'd put your oil, and then you'd put your cream. So that would be the step that you would do. Okay. Pugs for life. I love how her skin looks. For transparency, does she do anything else like Botox and fillers? Haha. No, I don't do anything else. I swear this is true botanicals, and it's been a game changer for my skin, and I feel honored to be working for the brand. Okay, what about Noel? Can you mix the vitamin C powder with the Phyto retinol serum at night? Yes, you can do that. You can mix the vitamin C with a lot of different things. So I know I showed you with the Taboola serum. You can mix it with your cream. You can mix it with your night serum. You can mix it with a mask. You can even, with the vitamin C, put it in the palm and add just a little water to make a paste. If you have some stubborn dark spots and you really want to just like sort of layer a nice layer of that vitamin C paste on your skin, you can do that. Just take a little concealer brush and dab it on, and you can sleep with it on like that to really address those targeted spots on your skin. Okay, we talked about vitamin C and phytoretinol. Should they be used separately? No, because we talked about our phytoretinol is not photosensitizing. It plays well with all other ingredients. And so you actually can use the sleep serum and the vitamin C together. I know that's a weird concept because most of you have been told don't mix vitamin C with retinol, but here you can. So that's hopefully that helps with your routine. Okay. I have one more question, then we're going to move on. I have very fair, sensitive, this is Nikki Babe 74. I have very fair, sensitive hormonal skin. I used to be very oily. I've noticed now that I'm 50, I'm more dry. What products are best for all these issues? Okay, if you used to be oily, now you're dry, I would say go with the Radiance Oil. And the Renew Pure Radiance Oil, I feel like if you're now dry and you're dealing with some hormonal issues, and you have sensitive skin, I would say try the Renew Pure Radiance Oil. I think that would be a game changer for all of your skin issues. The other thing that we have is we have Renew that addresses more aging skin. We also have a Clear Pure Radiance Oil. So if you are someone that is oily, that might have a little more blemish prone acneic skin, and you can't find a solution, we do have our Clear Pure Radiance Oil that's loaded with a lot of antibacterial natural oils to help get to the root cause of what's typically causing some of that, those blemishes. It kind of breaks up what's happening below the surface, right? Because it's the antibacterial, breaks up that bacteria, and then really addresses from the root to the outside. In fact, one of our celebrity ambassadors, Olivia Wilde, actually found our brand because she was dealing with acne and couldn't find anything to help her skin. And she found Clear Pure Radiance Oil. And she wrote our founder this love letter that nothing else has helped her skin except that. And that's when she started working with us. So Clear Pure Radiance Oil really works if you're someone that's dealing with oily, more acneic skin. Okay, let's move on. We have, I think, maybe about 10 minutes. But I want to talk about, there are a lot of, so we talked about ingredients that we want to feed our skin, right? That we want to make sure that we're doing to help combat aging. There's a lot of things that we do, that lead to some of these signs of aging, right? That really disrupt our skin. The biggest thing, and I think most people don't realize it, is cleansing, right? Tell us a little bit about what happens when you cleanse. We've all been sort of psychologically ingrained that like you want to clean your skin, you want your skin to feel squeaky clean, right? But tell us about that. Why is that maybe not the right way to think about cleaning your skin?
Yeah, I think it goes back to the word cleanse, right? So cleanse, obviously means clean, but I think for everyone that has a different sort of connotation of how that's supposed to feel. So in sort of the high level picture of all this, like, yeah, cleaning your skin is always a great idea. We have micro traumas to the skin. We have dead skin cells that pile up. We have the environment that cakes to our skin. And so it's great to clean the skin. Now, why I'm using quotes and sort of being a little cheeky about this is what a lot of people do to clean the skin is way, way, way more harsh than actually is needed to clean the skin. So people will do harsh exfoliations. They will scrub their skin. They'll use really harsh soaps. And it's interesting. And, you and I talked about this, I think last time, but we almost all go to the point where we feel tight with our skin when we wash. And that probably means that we've stripped the skin of what it actually needs. And that sort of odd feeling that we've almost regulated as like, oh, my skin feels clean because it feels tight and irritated, is a complete myth. Take some of those dead skin cells off, make sure there is sort of a re-regulation of the microbiome, which is the bacteria that naturally lives on our skin. And the way you do that is not to scrub it and get rid of them. It's to basically nurture them and make sure that, yes, you're getting something that's able to wash it, but also making sure that you're hydrating it in the same vein. And so that's why I always sort of cringe at the word cleanse, like, oh, I clean my skin 3 times a day, because sometimes I'm seeing that means someone is just traumatizing their skin 3 times a day.
Right. And I know you and I love to use this analogy, right? So, when you cleanse your skin and you strip it, right? You just said you're stripping it of a lot of things that it needs, right? And one of the things that we're also doing is damaging the skin barrier, right? That barrier, is so important because we talk about it acting as like the doorman, right? It keeps the good in and keeps the bad out. And if that skin barrier is damaged, that function of keeping the good in and the bad out can't work, which is why a lot of these things happen, which is why things get into your skin that end up wreaking havoc, whether it's causing inflammation, right? Or bacteria or environmental aggression, those free radicals that get through, right? All those things, get into your skin, because when your skin barrier is damaged, it allows those things in, right? And so we want to make sure that that skin barrier can be regulated enough to function in the way it's supposed to function, right? So cleansing is really an important step. It's like the foundation of a good skincare routine is finding the right cleanser that's not going to strip your skin, that's not going to over cleanse, but you need to like make sure you feel clean, like as Dr. Butler said. So if you haven't ever tried our ginger turmeric cleansing balm, I highly recommend trying it. So this is a cleansing balm that is a one-stop shop. I call it a 4-in-1 because it will help remove all dirt and impurities. It'll help remove makeup. It has amazing antioxidant properties to help protect the skin. And it also has azelaic and lactic acid to gently exfoliate the dead skin cells that are sitting on the surface. It is and it's like an intoxicating, like amazing experience. It's almost addictive. Like I actually look forward to using this every single night to wash my face because the smell is just so beautiful. The experience is just, it's amazing. So if you've never tried this, I would highly recommend trying it because it also will leave your skin feeling hydrated and plump. It won't leave your skin feeling tight and stripped, like Dr. Butler just told you about. So if you are cleansing your skin wrong, please check your cleanser and make sure you're cleansing it right, because we can easily have we can easily ruin the rest of our routine by not supporting it with a really good cleanser and a good cleansing step. So the other thing is sun exposure. So I know that obviously, and I know we're almost out of time and I want to wrap it up, but I do want to just put a plug in. SPF is super important. Obviously, as a dermatologist, like that is your number one thing that you always say is like, protect your skin from the sun, right? Will you just give a quick, brief overview of like chemical versus mineral sunscreen? And then
of course.
And then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, of course. So mineral sunscreens, zinc and titanium based, are the mineral sunscreens. They essentially are the ones that you put on your skin and they reflect the sun. So the sun hits that mineral sunscreen, that barrier, and then it reflects it back. A chemical sunscreen are the ones that you put on the skin and then the sun comes to that chemical and it actually, through a chemical reaction, absorbs the sun and limits its penetration into your skin. So those are the two forms. And we in dermatology, we love both of them, but I think we always preferentially use the mineral ones, just given their natural ingredients and their safety profile. And as they absolutely are the gold standard for sunscreens for preventing anti-aging or preventing aging and also preventing cancer. Those are big ones for us.
Yeah. And if you haven't tried our Skin Barrier Sun Shield, it's an SPF 30. It works beautifully over your skincare routine. It's a great last step to protect your skin using a mineral non-nano zinc oxide. It also is powered with Chibula. And so you get all those amazing skincare benefits while you're protecting your skin as the last step of your routine. Okay, I think we are almost out of time. I just wanted to recap a few things, and we have the sweepstakes winner. So let me just look. I believe we pulled the name, and the name is Dixie M. You are the winner of the True Botanicals face and body routine, valued at $527. That's amazing. Congratulations. Yay.
Congratulations.
And I also want to remind you guys all of our moisturizers. So our Taboola Extreme Cream, our Ginger Turmeric Hydro Glow Cream, and our new Phyto Advanced Clinical Cream are all 20% off today. Also, if you spend $90, a minimum of $90, you get our GWP. That's a sample little mini size of our Taboola Active Serum and our Phyto Sleep Serum, and it comes in a cute little bag. Also, please, we have events going on all weekend. So make sure if you want to see us in person, make sure to check out your local Nordstrom and come to an event of ours. And if you have any other questions, we're answering them in the chat, but it was so nice connecting. Dr. Butler, I always love talking to you. Like I learn something new every single time, and I love connecting with you. So this was so fun.
Same. You're the best. And thanks everyone for joining. This was fun.
Thank you, everybody.